Welcome to Dowdell Library Storytime. My name is Miss Maryanne, and today we're going to be reading a book about Mars called Mousetronaut. Do you know why February is so special? I'll give you a hint. Back in July, in fact on July 30th, 2020, last year, NASA launched something. Does anybody know what it was? I'll give you a minute. You guessed it. They launched another Mars rover. This rover's name is Mars 2020 Perseverance. And it'll be landing on Mars on February 18th, 2021. Wow, that's what, 6 months that it takes for it to actually travel? And it's traveling by light years also. So that is another experience that is hard to actually understand. Now, when they say light years, a light year in space is to describe the distance. And a light year is the distance light travels in 1 Earth year. Now that's a little bit complicated, so we'll break it down a little bit more. 1 light year is equal to about 6 trillion miles. Do you know how many zeros are in 6 trillion? That's how long it takes. And now this rover that is going to land on February 18th is going to stay on Mars for 1 year. And Mars years equals 2 Earth years. Think about that. So that's a few interesting facts about the Mars rover that is going to be landing on February 18th of 2021. Okay, let's get back to our actual book. Mousetronaut Goes to Mars. It's by an actual astronaut, Mark Kelly, and illustrated by C.F. Payne. Wow. The Galaxy rocket was just 1 week away from launching. It would be the first human mission to Mars. Even though Mars was Earth's neighbor, the astronauts would need to travel more than 35 million miles to get there. And Meteor, the Mousetronaut, couldn't wait to go. The astronauts had been training for 2 years for this trip. Meteor watched everything they did. Each day he looked over the astronauts' shoulders as they studied, sat under the table and listened while they ate, and kept a notebook of the flight plan and procedures. Meteor was certain that he'd be going to Mars too. He might not be the biggest astronaut, but he had the power of small. He worked hard to stay in shape. He ran with Claudia. He did chin-ups with Claire. He lifted weights with Charlotte. The Mousetronaut was ready. But when the names of the crew were called out, Meteor's name wasn't one of them. The Mousetronaut was not on the list. NASA must have forgotten about their newest astronaut. There wasn't a chance Meteor was going to miss this exciting trip. He was small. He could hide. He would stow away. Slowly, carefully, he climbed the launch tower. Then, when the NASA security guard wasn't looking, he hid under the commander's seat. He tried to be as quiet as he could, but he was scared. He wasn't scared of the rocket launch. He was scared that he would be caught. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. The rocket shook. Meteor was pushed against the floor. He held on tight so he wouldn't slide out from under the seat. There was a lot of vibration, much more than he remembered from his launch on the space shuttle, but not enough to bother a Mousetronaut. 9 minutes later, they were in space. Meteor loved the feeling of weightlessness. During the long journey, Meteor stayed hidden. He would only come out for crumbs when the astronauts slept. And as Earth got smaller behind them, the red dot that was Mars grew bigger. After 6 months, they finally arrived. Meteor had stayed hidden the entire time. When no one was looking, Meteor peeked through the window and saw different shades of red and orange. Mars was nothing like Earth, but it was still beautiful in its own way. He also heard the astronauts making plans. 2 of them would go down to the surface and explore Mars on foot and with a rover. But there was a problem. Galaxy's commander was talking to Mission Control in Houston. One of the landing craft's engines had failed its test and wouldn't work. The remaining engine wasn't strong enough to carry even 1 astronaut. There would be no trip to the surface of the red planet. They would need to turn around and return to Earth. But then the Mousetronaut had an idea. He shot out of his hiding place to surprise the crew. "Meteor, where were you hiding?" the commander asked. They were happy to see him, but still sad about their failed mission. Then Meteor floated over to the hatch leading to the landing craft. It is possible," said the commander. "One rocket engine could work for someone small enough." It was decided Meteor the Mousetronaut would be the first to set foot on Mars. As he put on his spacesuit, the crew gave him instructions. "You need to gather plenty of rock samples," said one, "and don't forget to bring back some soil," added another. Last of all, they made a tiny American flag and fastened it to a straw. Meteor tied himself into the seat of the landing craft with some string. It launched from the Galaxy spacecraft and made its way to the surface of Mars. The Martian landscape was unlike anything Meteor had seen before. There were no plants. There was no water that he could see. But most important, there were no cats. But he got right to work gathering the samples. The last thing he did before reboarding the landing craft was to plant the tiny flag he was given. "Meteor, you saved the day," the cheer crewed him as he returned to the ship. You'll be in the newspaper headlines around the world." The Mousetronaut felt very proud. "And we'll make sure you are on our next mission." Six months later, Galaxy rocket returned to Earth. The astronauts were all welcomed as heroes, but the smallest among them was the biggest hero of all. The end. I hope you enjoyed this book today. We have this book here in the library and many others on Mars and the other planets, Jupiter and Saturn, and also the moon, if you're interested in. So come down to the library to check them out. And I hope you enjoyed the fun facts in the beginning of the story time. That's it for now. Bye. See you next time.